record it?
Yep. Am I just going straight in or I wait for the music?
Wait till after the music plays.
That's right, okay.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the Common Good Block. This is the Hard Conversations radio show brought to you by Pillars and Bridges. I am Pastor John McClain, here with the host of the Hard Conversations radio show brought to you by Pillars and Bridges, Mr. Pastor Aaron Scott, and Mr. Tony, the OG himself. But I'll let you take it away, Aaron.
That's it, man. Thank you so much. And you know what? We respectfully refer to Brother Tony as our resident old head. Okay? Our resident old head, man. And so we're so glad to be back in here. Thank you, Pastor John. And we have an amazing guest with us today, too. You know, this man that's in the room with us this afternoon, you know, this is one of the first guys that I met when I came out here to Tucson. And I met him because I was trying to get involved in the community and find ways that I could serve. And I came across this brother because everywhere I turned, things I was trying to go get involved in, there he was, doing amazing things. And so Mr. Lance Meeks is with us this afternoon. He's the one of the directors in the director position with the Goodwill. And he's going to tell you a little bit about more his specific position. But Lance, here's what we want to talk about first, because we got you for the whole show today. Man, first, just a little bit about yourself and some of the other things you're doing in the community, because I know you serve with Juneteenth. I know you and your wife, power couple, doing, you know, major things as far as NAACP. But, man, a little bit more about yourself and what you're doing out here.
Well, thank y'all for having me on. Pillars and Bridges, you know, I appreciate it. But I'm the Director of Community Engagement for Goodwill Southern Arizona. I have the great opportunity of overseeing 4 youth re-engagement centers in our community. And we are working with young people who are disconnected from school, work, community resources, ages 12 to 24 years old on a daily basis. So connecting them to community resources, helping them find their purpose in our community. I mean, really, about myself, I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, football fan, so go Vikings. Hopefully we're going to do better this year.
That's the one you want to leave with. Go on.
But just in general, I've been raised and been a part of your community. I'm originally from Waterloo, Iowa, and so raised in a community of really giving back, being a part of community, and been able to find that out here in Tucson with connecting with like-minded folks like you all right here. So I have a passion to really just, you know, support those who are vulnerable, support those who may not be left out of conversations, left out of opportunities. And so being at Goodwill, I mean, I have had a past of working in Department of Corrections in state of Missouri, working for Child Protective Service here in Arizona. And so with all of that combined experience, it has really taught me that there are so many needs and challenges, and I'm in a position that I'm able to be really work within in really creative and innovative ways. I don't really have a lot of like restrictions. For the most part, they kind of let me do what I want to do. So I love it.
No, and I love that too, because, you know, what we're dealing with, man, you know, we talk about often these multifaceted problems, and we have to be able to find creative, innovative ways to address them. You know, I go back and forth, man, being somebody from the ministry, you know, when I say there's new challenges, I'm like, you know, I believe that it's the same enemy that's trying to take us down. Right. But things may, you know, manifest in a different way, or they're further along down the road, you know. But one thing I really appreciate about you, Lance, and this is something, you know, we're intentional about the folks we bring to the show here. But you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk, man. And we're going to get into that a little bit later, but you're giving your gifts, you're giving your time, you're giving your talent to help address these issues. And not just for yourself, but you're leading and building others to do the same. You know, but before we get into that, man, just want to hear a little bit, right? Hard conversations.
Yes.
And sometimes the most important conversation is the hardest one to have. You know, so I just want to hear a little bit, man. Can you tell us from your perspective, what are some of the problems that the youth are facing in our community, right? And how is it impacting them?
Yeah, so I would say, as long as I've been doing this work, one of the major challenges is trust, right? It seems like the majority of young folks that we're working with their justice involved, they're on their own, they're homeless, they're couch surfing, they're in the foster care system. A lot of it is adults who have not supported them, who have dropped the ball in a lot of areas. And I think we have to own that as a community. And so when doing this work and you're trying to gain the trust, that's very challenging. Because from what, they report, is like, man, like, I know, like, the 5 other organizations said they were going to help, right? The 6 other volunteers said they were going to be there, right? And so what we've been trying to do is just, like, build these safe spaces where, as you know, relationships take time. It's really like building that trust, and slowly but surely, I think we've been doing it. But I would say trust is a huge issue. I would say, and then access to the resources, access to the services. Right. Prime example. Right now we have there's free public transportation. So in some people's minds, they're like, oh yeah, like you should be able to get to here to here to here to there, right?
What's the problem?
Right. But if you listen to the young people, if we listen, if we ask, right, if we ask the question, they will say that their safety is important, and they don't feel safe on the public transportation at times, right? And so that could be the barrier, even though it's free, but there could be actual fear, anxiety, or experiences that leads them to not getting on that public transportation that then will get them to where they need to be and find their purpose.
Oh, man.
You just now touched on something that is real important to me, and I don't think happens enough. When you said we ask the youth what's going on, that's what I think is one of the biggest missing pieces of all the work that we're trying to do here. We can get all the statistics in the world. We can close up in rooms and talk about best practices and all of that kind of stuff. But once a child loses trust, you have to actually ask them, what do I have to do to gain your trust? And basically, the answer is always going to be consistent.
Yes.
Do what you say, things like that. So the fact that you're one of the few people out here that actually goes and asks before you decide what you're going to do, that's something that I applaud a lot.
Thank you.
Everyone knows that, I have an in-your-face type approach.
No.
But I believe that what I'm actually doing is I'm not trying to take advantage of somebody's time. No. If you give me your time, I want to get to what we're talking about. And you're also one of the people, I found that out on a recent trip we actually took together.
Connected,
that time is important to you and you want to get to the point.
Yep.
So I just wanted to kind of highlight that about you, so people would know exactly what they're listening to right now.
Thank you.
And man, when you were talking about that too, right? So building trust and feeling safe, So what is it that you hear, man? Because you're there on the ground, right? You're with, and I love it, man. Anytime I come by the rec, I'm seeing familiar faces, and I think that's a testament to the fact that they feel safe, that they feel respected, they feel heard. But man, could you tell us a little bit more about that? What do those stories sound like when they're saying, well, so-and-so was supposed to help, or they said they were going to show up? Like, man, how does that impact them? What do you observe and what do you hear when they're sharing that story?
It's really disheartening, right? I know that as a young adult or a youth at one point, I had not a perfect life, but you get in some trouble here or there, or your parents told you to do something and you didn't do it. But I had a support in my family, extended family, and in the community. And I guess one of the things that I see here from the young people is just that, there's nobody, right? And if they've been in the foster care system and they want to reconnect to family, sometimes that happens and then they're let down again, right? So it's really disheartening. It's really sad. And that's why I think the work goes into, as a representative of an organization such as Goodwill and focusing on youth programming, focus on connecting young people to the resources, we always try to be intentional of who we connect them with, right? And so a part of my career, we've tried to really build those bridges within the faith-based community, right? I know from where I'm at, we're open certain times to really like 9 to 4, 9 to 5.
Okay.
But then after that, what's available to them, right? And so that's where it's trying to find those stakeholders in the community who you can leverage resources, leverage support with to say, hey, we have young people here that's having challenges, but who's next to tap in to continue to help them build and be safe in the community or have outlets.
No, and this is a great segue, man, because, I hear about, how stakeholders, how folks that want to help can get plugged in. So how could they contact you, Lance?
So you can hit me up with email. I'm at lmeeks at goodwilltucson.org, or you can contact me on my work cell. That's 520-306-8445. I do a lot of moving around, so probably the work cell will probably be the best to hit me up on. Or you can come to 1920 East Silver Lake, Suite 207. I'm at the Goodwill Rec Youth Center. Catch me there Monday through Friday.
Keep going.
Because we got you here, so that's fine. We'll bring that back up.
Okay,
don't worry.
cool.
So we can hear that. No, that's awesome, man. Bro, we're rolling.
Okay.
Nice work.
Good.
Nice work, man. We're moving right through it. So we're gonna get now for the second half.
Okay.
Into the programs of what we're doing.
Right.
What you guys have going.
Am I supposed to be hearing more in here, or just
Tony's
kind
got the
of?
question. You can adjust your volume
Got it.
right down there. Be careful because it does come in loud
Oh.
out of nowhere. I didn't even hear the music play, John. You just
I heard a
started.
little bit of it.
Yeah. Maybe was your volume low?
Maybe it was a volume thing. It's
Yeah.
definitely the operator. No big deal.
Okay. Good. That happens. That does happen. Give him a thumbs up.
Killing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think
Going good.
Alright, shoot my thumbs
the
up.
ass part that you said
sorry.
was the leading into that all the way up to there. That was a nice crescendo. I think people that hear this
Yeah,
is really.
we're ready, Tom. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good angle.
Good shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
hear
you
it,
heard
I hear
it now. He said, now I hear it.
You're missing the good music, Jonathan.
I can hear it.
Okay.
Hey, welcome back. This is Aaron Scott, your host of the Hard Conversations brought to you by Pillars and Bridges. I'm here with our resident old head and information powerhouse, Mr. Tony Ruffin. Okay, we got Pastor John McClain in here, just smiling, just so handsome, just
Blessed and highly favored. Is happy.
come on,
I
man.
got a 9-month-old baby teething, but beside that, God is good.
God is good, amen. And most importantly today, Mr. Lance Meeks in here, the studio with us, talking about some of the issues that the young people in our community are facing. And what we're really excited about this time is to be able to talk about some of the things they're doing to serve in the community, some things you're doing to stand in the gap. That's Mr. Lance Meeks, the Director of Community Engagement with the Goodwill. And man, they're doing amazing work all around the city. I'm going to swing it over to Mr. Ruffin. He's got some questions for us to keep the show moving along.
That's right. That's right.
Rough
Okay,
and tough with
you
the
know-
rough Afro puff. There we go.
Hey, can I say something real quick? I really love that intro music, man. That's what's up. I like that. I like that.
Well, let's jump on into it, man, because I know you're involved in a lot of things, and not just like, on the outside. You're actually in there making these decisions, and you're actually in here creating the programs that are going to pretty much shape Tucson, in the future. And just over this past weekend, Goodwill teamed up for an event with the Fresh Start program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we hosted our first empowerment clinic with the Fresh Start International folks. Dr. Damon Holt, shout out to him. We've been seeing each other for a while in this community, and he's like, hey, man, we need to get together, we need to do some stuff.
That's right.
And so what really came out of it, I know that as an organization, we participated in the annual Fresh Start program at the TCC. And talking with Dr. Holt, we understood that there's issues and challenges more than just one time a year. Folks have, they need assistance, they need helps with navigating services on a daily basis.
Come on.
So we decided to partner, hold space at our Goodwill Southern Arizona headquarters, and the goal is to do it on a quarterly basis. So there will be another one in June.
Beautiful.
But to have folks come out, get their warrants quashed, get their rights restored, get connected to community resources. Hey, we're Goodwill. We have jobs, we have programs, we have services. So that's what we were looking for, and I would say the community showed up. It was a blessing to see and to hear about folks getting their needs met. And shout out to the city court judges and all those other court personnel that came, because that's on a Saturday.
Come on, man.
Right? They came
And they're bringing court to you, right?
Bringing
We set up
court-
court at Goodwill.
bringing court to Goodwill. So Judge Blue, I don't know some of the other ones, other judges. I didn't get to meet everybody, but Andy Silverman, all of those fine folks, and just a Fresh Start International team. And Goodwill, we had a lot of employees and staff members give their time.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Yeah, I actually spoke to one gentleman out there who actually will be voting for the first time in 20 years because he got his rights restored. And to say he was happy, I'm just going to kind of leave it at that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
he
beautiful.
was extremely happy. So, I also know about the work that, Dr. Holt's been doing. I've been behind that
Yes.
for the longest, It's one thing to acknowledge that we had a problem here with the justice system, but making people whole,
Yes.
I think that's really important as far as I'm concerned. But there's also something else that I really wanted to
Man, let's
jump
get
in
to
here
it, man.
with you about.
Let's get it.
Okay, you have an exciting new project that you're developing with TPD to combat gun violence in Tucson. What do you hope to accomplish with this program?
Yeah, so we have an opportunity to bring a program here, roll out a program that focuses on community violence and intervention program, and combined with a hospital violence intervention programming. So throughout the U.S., there are other communities that struggle and have issues with homicides and killings and all of that. And so the strategy has been to take what other communities have been doing and find individuals in the community who have been impacted by gun violence, right, who have those lived experiences. So we've brought a team together, and with that team, we're going to be looking at trying to disrupt gun violence in our community, and then working with those that are at the highest risk of gun violence, or those who are at high risk to be perpetrators of gun violence, right? And so that is in the early stages.
Yeah.
We have 4 CVI specialists, and sometimes they're called credible messengers, sometimes they're called interrupters. But they're going to be doing the work of really working with those individuals that are identified through various ways in the community, and providing them that mentoring, providing them the opportunities of, hey, what you don't know, what can we do to help you make your life better? Or what are the challenges, what are the barriers? How can we help you maneuver that? Or what can we do in your neighborhood or your community to bring healing, to bring justice, all those things?
Yeah, man, as myself, a victim of gun violence. And back in 2009, now this was in Philadelphia, but robbed from my cell phone, shot in the stomach, and so I know how being somebody that's a victim, how it impacts me, but not just me, but my family, my community. And so thankful for what's going on there. And I appreciate what you said too about, to your point earlier, right, kind of build trust, and what Tony highlighted about asking the questions. It's like, hey, how can we help you? Because once again, you get folks in power, right, folks of influence and position, and they look and observe what the issue may be, but sometimes you hear a different story when you get to hear from the horse's mouth.
It's crazy, but the people that you were talking about to go out into the community, from what I understand, you're actually looking people from the community to go out and do that work. It's not just, you're just gonna go find people who, have nothing really learned about this stuff in a book. You actually want people with lived experiences to go out and interact with these people. Am I wrong here, or am I right?
No, you're correct. I mean, as an organization, I think the last few years, we've really done our work to really, in all the programming, to include individuals who have lived experiences, right? And that has been something that we've been really intentional about, and has brought a lot of value to our organization. And so the great thing about it is that these are folks who have had challenges, who had barriers, also who have caused harm, and they've done the work on themselves and within the community to make changes, and now they want to be in a position to give back, to restore community, to help with healing. And so that's the really exciting piece that I get to be a part of it and kind of lead it out.
Yeah, that's great, because I'm a firm believer. I'm proof positive that what you were yesterday has nothing to do with what you can be tomorrow.
Absolutely.
But as you know from somebody who's been doing this work as long as you have, no program is going to make everybody happy.
Absolutely.
So what are you doing to make sure you get the broadest support for the new gun violence program that you're creating?
Yes, I appreciate that question. I think one of the things that we've been trying to do is go out to the community, and what we've been having is community conversations that surround gun violence. So most times when programming begins, organizations be like, hey, we got this great idea. We're going to implement this. Nobody goes to the community and asks. So what we understand is that in our community, there have been a problem with homicides, right? In our community, you see it every day on the news, articles, folks are impacted greatly. Some folks that were here yesterday are not here today. And so what we've been doing is having those conversations, but also letting the community know this is what we're going to do. How would you like to be a part of it, right? And also gaining their input about what do you think about what strategies or what are the needs, because in Tucson it's spread out, right? Like what may be for South Tucson could be different versus North Tucson. So we're trying to figure that piece out, but we only get that information if we go and ask and have the conversations, the uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah, man, the hard conversations.
Hard conversations.
Come on, got to talk about it. And one of the things that we've been highlighting so much is about the importance of a conversation, right, where it's conversing. It's not all one side. Yeah. It's not all one perspective, right? But people are able to share because, yes, while it may not be one size fits all, as far as South Tucson to North to East to West, yeah, but they all are facing issues, right? And if we can work together to figure out what they are and how it works specifically there, we can put something together.
Absolutely.
But it starts with a conversation. With just a couple minutes left, man, can you tell us again how folks can get in contact with you? And then we're going to share a little bit more.
Yeah, so folks can contact me in my work cell at 520-306-8445, or you can hit me at email, Lance Meeks, or lmeeks at goodwilltucson.org, or you can come by 1920 East Silver Lake, Suite 207, Goodwill Rec Youth Center. I'm there.
There it it is, man. He's right in that nice corner office. Okay? Quarterback is right there holding it down, man. Tony, did you have any other thoughts, man? We got about 2 minutes left.
Just wanted you to know, Lance, that, we wish you all the success in the world, and we're here to help in any way you see fit. All you got to do is, just scream out, man, and we'll do whatever we can. I appreciate it. And for the listeners, I want you guys to understand something. We're not just trying to let you know what's going on. We actually would love for you to get involved. So go ahead and reach out to him, because you may have the idea that makes this program a success. So get involved, please. And that's mainly everything that we're talking about here. I appreciate it.
That's it, man. Absolutely. And we're glad to make that connection, make that introduction. You can reach us at Pillars and Bridges. That's www.pillarsandbridges.org. We believe that the people in our community, the organizations, are the pillars. That's what this work stands on. And we know that we're standing on the shoulders of so many that have come before us. Right? But then what can we do to be building bridges between the people and the resources? Building bridges between the people and other people or other organizations or information so that we can keep the work moving forward. We talked about on a show a few weeks ago, that quote, right? The people in the arena. The man in the arena. It's not the critic. It's not the one who's tearing down the strong man, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's the people that are in there, putting in the work day in and day out. This is Hard Conversations, brought to you by Pillars and Bridges. We're here with John McClain, Pastor John McClain of the Veteran Rescue Mission, the Common Good Block. Thank you so much for listening. John, will you take us away?
Wash behind your ears.
There it is. Amen. Thank you. He said, "Hey, a quick little tidbit."